What is up, guys? The Strong Boys 19 here. This is going to be a concert review that I am very, very proud of to share with you guys. So, this is going to be the experience and the big nostalgia journey of seeing my favorite band, Slipknot. Now, this is going to be the first time for me to talk about the experience of seeing Slipknot on the channel, but this is the first time for me in 5 years. The last time that I had seen them live was in 2015 from the Grey Chapter period. But I remember the first time that I had seen them live, it was the night after I turned 15. It was at the Birmingham NIA, and Machine Head and Children of Bodom were the support band. The second time Korn was supporting the band, I was so pissed that I didn't see most of Korn's set live, but I managed to catch them at one of their last songs. But this show, this show for Slipknot on the We Are Not Your Kind tour, and Behemoth being the supporting band, it was really, really worth the experience. And I know I say that word, but it truly was. But I want to share something very, very cool. The night before their performance, I decided to go to the guitar store in Birmingham because they had planned an event that one of the members, Mick Thomson, is doing a meet and greet and signing. So I was standing in line outside in the cold, and it was very, very long. It was a huge, long wait. It took me about at least 2.5 or almost 3 hours from standing outside, feeling very chilly, to get inside the store. And I managed to get 2 items signed by the man himself. Well, my brother was involved as well, but there was the rule: you have to have 1 item signed per person. So my brother decided to take one of the items, and I decided to take the record of We Are Not Your Kind. We were together. I'll show you a picture of me with Mick, and I eventually was just so thrilled that the anticipation for the next night was very, very high. I was very lucky to shake his hand twice, giving him a few praises, saying that tomorrow night's going to be the first time for me in 5 years, and the third time of seeing the band in general, and I'm very grateful. Here is the album of the self-titled debut, signed by Mick himself, right there. My original plan was to get the 6 albums signed by Mick, but since there were so many people, I thought, it's acceptable to have a few signs, not to have everything in my bag signed by him. And as for the We Are Not Your Kind record, here it is. Here is his signature. I couldn't thank Guitar and Mick enough for planning this whole event out. Behemoth did a meet and greet signing at 3 p.m. at the same store, but I didn't go to that one. I really, really like Behemoth, but since that Slipknot had been the most important band for me, I decided to go to Mick's meet and greet. So after that, we went to see Slipknot and Behemoth, and the type of tickets that I had ordered is one of the VIP hot seat packages. And here is the pass, VIP, and the back of it shows the logo and the rest of the tour. At the bottom, it says no backstage access, so I didn't get the chance to meet Slipknot, which is totally fine. No entry without tickets, and non-transferable. So I had to put this on the entire time to get my reserved seats. So Behemoth were on first, and it was extremely close. We were at block 11 out of the 12. Behemoth were performing, and it was my first time seeing the band live, and they were awesome. They have their own craft, their stage presence, their presentation, and they did, I think, perform a lot of the songs, if not all of the songs, from their 2018 album, I Loved You at Your Darkest. Now, for me, being a Behemoth fan, I am not a fan of that album. It's a good album, but The Satanist to me is a way better and stronger album in songwriting, production. The delivery of that album is better than their latest album. The sound of the band was really, really good. Their presence and interaction with the band was high. A little issue that I have with it is that I find the bass, from the sound of the bass drum, to be too high, but they pulled it off with their own performance. Some fire involved and a lot of smoke. There were a few mosh pits and the crowd were really digging it. So if I want to see Behemoth live again, I would definitely like to see them, as I think that they were one of the best bands in extreme music. So Behemoth were brilliant live. Slipknot, however, call me biased, but they really stole the show. This was the first time for me seeing the band in this lineup. After the departure of Chris, I just could not have been any happier than ever. This show was Slipknot's best show they have ever done in a very long time. And I know that it's my third time overall, but this show was so exciting. I was so into it. At most of the songs, I was wrecking my voice, wrecking it with some singing to screaming. I had to stand up occasionally on one of the songs, headbanging so much. I'm still recovering from it. The neck was at its sorest, and it just was so uncomfortable afterwards. By the time after the third or fourth song, the neck was really starting to play up, but I couldn't care less. I sometimes stood up, moved around like a crazy maniac, giving the band the hand gestures of the devil sign, and on some points from Corey's request to give the middle fingers up. Headbanging so much. Let's just say my movements are pretty hyper. I was just so over the top and overexcited that I was feeling the vibe. The feeling of just being such in a positive and crazy mood of seeing Slipknot live. The sound of the band was perfect. There was no issue whatsoever from the mixing to the volume. I heard everything from start to finish, and Slipknot's performance was just some of the greatest I've ever seen, and this totally topped off the first two experiences of seeing the band live. This is Slipknot at their best. The lighting was perfect. They showed a lot of visuals, effects, like from the screens, and sometimes I decided to look at Slipknot at the screen next to the stage, but I really wanted to see the whole band with their own crazy antics of performances from each band member, and there was lots of fire involved. I looked at the crowd sometimes, that there were sometimes 2 or even 3 mosh pits. It was just an insane show that I am very, very humble and grateful to see my favourite band of all time in this lineup, and this was definitely worth the purchase and just the feeling of being in a nostalgia trip. It just takes me back when I was 11 or 12 years old, when I had discovered and became a big, big fan of Slipknot. Corey Taylor just did his usual fun interactions with the crowd, and the rest of the guys, they just pulled it off with their own ways of performing, and they just have their own identity. And that's what I love a lot about Slipknot. It's just that each band member have their own identity and personality when they wear their masks, and just putting on such a monstrous but incredible show. So Behemoth were fantastic, and Slipknot were mind-blowing, phenomenal. That's all I would say. That's all I would say about the show. They played songs from many of their albums. They had played tracks like Unsainted, Sick, Eyeless, Wait and Bleed, All Out Life, Before I Forget, New Abortion, and they also played Duality, some tracks from the previous few albums. Slipknot's show was just outstanding. One of the greatest shows that I've ever been to in my life. So after the show, after hearing my own voice being such a total wreck, my brother and I got separate bags from the VIP Nation, VIP people, and I'm going to show you what the box contains. I didn't buy any merchandise from the merch stores, by the way, of various Slipknot t-shirts and the Behemoth merchandise, because I wanted to save the time to see what this box contains from this bag. And I'm going to show you guys it right now. So here is the front. The front is the logo, and that's what the corner looks like. And as I open this up, here it is. So the first item is on top. What this is, this contains separate pictures of the band, their own ways, their own masks, from the We Are Not Your Kind lineup, which is absolutely awesome to look at. So this will go down in history as, you know, a very, very cool item for me, and I'll add this to my Slipknot collection. So there you go, that's all of the pictures of the band, and the other two items are inside. The other one is a Slipknot water bottle, just a plain black design with the band's logo. And the last thing is the playing cards, which I have not unwrapped yet, but I would like to unwrap this in my own time and have a look at the cards. But that is pretty much it for this little simple box set, and I think it was a very cool thing to have in the collection, and that I would like to buy more merchandise for Slipknot in the future. By the way, if there are any people that had seen Slipknot from that night, please tell me what your comments are down below this video. I would really like to see what your comments are from your experience of seeing the band live. I've seen a few people from their posts saying that it was their first time seeing the band, and that is absolutely awesome. That's all I would like to say about the concert experience and my big excitement of meeting and greeting Mick Thomson the night before for a meet and greet, of having two items signed by him from my collection. It is just one of the greatest concert shows I've ever attended, and I do not care that this is going to be biased. This is the show of the year for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys and maggots posted for more videos in the near future.